Hey y'all. Um, so I'm just gonna be reviewing that roundtable conversation that Love and Hip Hop had um just the other day, for the whole Spice and Erica Erica Mena thing. Um, bear with me because I'm gonna try something new and I'm literally gonna try and just pull up the actual video and review it. Here I haven't done that before on YouTube yet, so just bear with me. But if you enjoy this, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the notification button whenever I post, so you can be alerted. And let's get into it. So I'm still sharing the screen. So I'm just trying to play back and make sure this is showing. Mm-hmm. You see it. Oh, I know what happened. It's because I still have my solo. Mm. Great. Can y'all see me now? Cool. So, we're gonna watch this and we're gonna see what it's about. I hope y'all can hear it well, but we're gonna see what it's about.
Hey y'all, it's Rasheeda here, and thank you for tuning into the season finale of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. This season has been one of the wildest ones yet, even for me, child. We appreciate you, the audience, for always sticking beside us through the good, the bad, the ugly, and of course, the messy. You saw and heard all of it, even Mena's use of a racial slur. For her to blurt that out the spice like she did, it was hurtful.
Or Erica
We
Mena.
all know
Hold
right
up.
from right and wrong from wrong.
No.
And for a person to say those things repeatedly and then turn around and act as though it wasn't anything. You saw and heard all of it. Even Mena's use of a racial slur. For her to blurt that out the spice like she did, it was hurtful. We all know right from right and wrong from wrong. And for a person to say those things repeatedly and then turn around and act as though it wasn't anything is what really bothered me the most. We've been fighting for so many years, you guys.
Don't sit here and act like y'all don't know this girl's behavior though, and how she is. This is how she is, and she's like, oh well, for her to sit there and act like it wasn't anything. People have been saying since this whole situation happened that that's how Erica is. This isn't the first time she said something like that, and it won't be the last. You, Rasheeda, I'm sorry, girl, but I'm not believing this whole, oh, I'm so upset. Like, girl, okay, whatever.
Just to be treated as equal. And at this point, I think it's a great time to have a great conversation. As a leading platform in popular culture, we have a responsibility to you, our audience. What you're about to watch is a roundtable anchored by Dr. Sarah Webb, founder and owner of Colorism Healing, alongside a few of my cast members. Unfortunately, I couldn't be present for this important roundtable.
Why not? Rasheeda, why were you not a part of the roundtable? And see, I haven't seen the whole thing. That's why I'm reviewing it here right now. I've seen clips here and there on social media and stuff. But off the top of my head, Spice was there, Jock, Scrappy, Yandy, and Amy Luciani. Off the top of my head, that's what I remember being there. Y'all should have had the whole cast. As a matter of fact, This should have been a pre-reunion type of situation because all y'all need to talk about that shit. And honestly, if it's taken one person for y'all to just be like, oh, okay, now let's literally seriously have a conversation about this, and all y'all are not present, it's y'all don't actually care. Y'all just doing this because people were literally outraged on the internet at the fact that Erica did what she did to Spice, but y'all still aired it for money. So we're gonna see how scripted this roundtable shit is here.
But I am extremely happy that we're making this happen. So please take a moment to watch, listen, and hopefully learn what has been an important moment for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Okay, Rasheeda. Bye.
Welcome, everyone. We are here with some of the cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta for a candid conversation.
The only one I forgot was Sierra. You know, the third one of the Typeface squad. But yeah, we should have had Bambi there. Y'all should have had Erica there. Now, I'm a little so about that real quick, and I know I'm supposed to be reviewing this, but this is just something that's been coming up all over the internet. They're like, oh, well, Erica should have been there, or Erica shouldn't have been there. And I know I said in a few of my reviews that, like, oh, she had her opportunity to say what she needed to say when they went to Bambi's little divorce party, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like we would have had to keep fighting if she was there, because she's not going to take accountability, and that would have just been gaslighting everybody, and it just would have been not getting anywhere because you're allowing the problem to continue to stay there. I don't exactly know what it's going to take for people to stop disrespecting Black women, but at this point, it's becoming an illness, a mental illness, and y'all gotta cut this shit out because y'all gonna keep fucking up y'all bag. Seriously. Like, but let's go.
Conversation about the controversial events leading up to the season 11 finale. I am Dr. Sarah L. Webb, the founder of Colorism Healing, which is a global initiative designed to raise awareness, shift attitudes, and take action to dismantle colorism around the globe.
Why Scrappy looks so uncomfortable? Why you look uncomfortable, Scrap? Like, Khaotic ass should have been there. Erica Banks should have been there. Rennie Rucci should have been there. Like, everybody should have been there. Everybody in this season. I'm confused. Don't be uncomfortable now. This is our everyday lives and shit. And honestly, maybe y'all should have had Erica there, just sitting in the corner and not allowed to say nothing while y'all having this conversation. Maybe y'all should have did it that way. I don't know. Come on.
The use of racial slurs against a cast member on season 11 has sparked debate and controversy across the internet. MTV thought it was important for some of...
I'm sorry, but Jock wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. Like, so this is what I'm saying. This whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And now, you know, I did see people make decent points, and I know I need to just get into it. I'm sorry I'm rambling, y'all, but I'm just saying, like, even just visually looking at it, it doesn't look right because Jock was not there when all of this happened. So why is he sitting at the table? Y'all having people there who don't need to be there, and then the people who should be there not there. But whatever.
The cast to continue their conversation as well. We have Yandy, Spice, Jock, Scrappy, Amy, and Sierra.
Hey.
First, I want to talk about bias and prejudice. This is what people most often talk about in these kind of conversations. So anyone can have a bias or a prejudice, where it's the belief that a group of people is inherently better or inferior than another.
And I'm like, I just don't understand, because I'm thinking about Spice at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, do Mona and them even care about the fact that she was called a slur on national TV? This bitch making monkey noises and shit at her. Like I really feel like Spice needs to get her lick back. When she's all healed up and shit, she can get her lick back. But y'all are really trying to monetize off the fact that this bitch is being racist. This is probably the most views that Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has had, or the most spiked in their views that they've had in a long time. all because the bitch is being racist, all because y'all keep allowing her to use y'all platform to do that. Now, y'all didn't say like, oh, Erica called her a monkey, but at the same time, y'all still aired the shit. Y'all should have been like, oh, well, there was some scenes that we just shouldn't have put in. But y'all want to monetize off that. At the end of the day, Spice has been traumatized off of by a cast member, and y'all just want to keep making money off that shit. My bad, y'all. If y'all hear some outside stuff, that's literally just my neighbors. So back to it.
Their group, right? Solely based on their race or gender or ethnicity, right? But when we're talking about racism and colorism, we're talking about social systems that go far beyond an individual person's attitudes or opinions. And racism and colorism are about power. So when we have something like colonialism, Europeans, white people, white identified people wanted to hoard economic power, political power, and social power, right? And so racism is about the system that pushes white people to the top of that power hierarchy. Colorism is a system in which even amongst us as people of color, those with the lightest skin tones get more preferential treatment and are propped up in society above those with darker skin tones, all right? And let's talk about Atlanta, the setting of all of this. Atlanta is the mecca of Black culture. Atlanta has a long history, generations of civil rights movements, of protests, right, of sit-ins. And so I'm wondering if you think that the location of where this conversation is happening makes it that much more pertinent. In Atlanta, for example, over the past recent years, we've had the deaths of people like Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks. And so your thoughts being local to this city, how does this setting of Atlanta really make this conversation that much more significant?
It's a Black city, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, as long as I done been living, you know, I done always been through some kind of racism.
Don't mind me. I'm sorry. Scrappy is just so funny looking to me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, just don't mind me.
Like, the Confederate flag is still a thing in Atlanta, and it's something that bothers me so bad. Like, it irks my nerve.
I think I was like,
Confederate flag is still a thing everywhere.
First grade, and my grandma taught at school. She taught at this school, Rockbridge Elementary. Now, this was predominantly white. I ain't never seen all these white people before. It's a total change.
Like, I went to school in Conyers, Georgia. My bus driver was, and Conyers is mostly white. My bus driver would leave me almost every morning.
What?
Just leave me.
What do you mean?
Like,
You reach.
You don't do that to the babies. Damn. That's fucked up. Poor baby. Did y'all hear about where was that? I feel like it was in Florida because there's always a fucked up shit happening in Florida. But it was like this bus driver wouldn't let these kids off the bus, and they was like crying and screaming and shit. And then the parents had to get some of the kids out of the window. Like, they was literally climbing out the window to get out, and he was crying and shit. Like, oh my gosh, that's what made me think about that. Poor Sierra.
Hey, Sierra.
No, I wasn't. Listen, my house was right in front of the school bus. The bus would come, they would open the door, the little white kids would get on the bus, and I'd come out of my house, you know, walking out. Maybe I was walking, but she seen me, and she would just pull off. They was with me.
They were.
They were, right?
So what you're talking about is what people call microaggressions.
Yes.
You're not using the N-word against me. You know, you're not calling me names. Explicitly.
Thank you.
But your
doing things, your actions are trying to put me in a degrading position.
They would, because she would let all of this. She was like, come on. The white kids would just jump on the bus, and I would come out there with my little book bag, and honey, she would just pull off and slam it. I'm like, dang.
She was like, the only little black girl. Let go.
And those are different things that I remember, like growing up in Atlanta.
I think moving here, because I'm from Harlem, another mecca of Black culture and creativity, I came with you know what? I think I want to open up a restaurant. I want to open up a skincare store. I was able to own these different properties, but once it comes down to permitting, I have someone that is white that works on my team. Sending her in to get things done,
Yep.
It's better, easier,
so much
quicker.
Get used to
This is the clip, one of the clips that I've been seeing. How Yandy, she's basically saying that this white girl she got working for her, she sends her in to get certain shit done because it speeds up the process. That's smart. That's what you call using your resources, in my opinion. Because what them those white people who are at the top, they use us for certain things. The urban, collective situations when it comes to these businesses and stuff. So that's a smart businesswoman move. Seriously. Seriously.
Than me doing it. Although this is the mecca of, black opportunities, resources. So I think racism is everywhere. I think the structural power is all over the United States. I mean, I'm saying the United States because that's where I'm from, but I think it's embedded in systems no matter how much the state or the city appreciates what black people brings, how much they idolize what we bring, how much they love our culture. I don't think it's any different. The black we actually support, we spend the money. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all spend the money, but I'm not gonna give y'all that real respect. I walk into the bank and I'm not respected at all until they log into my account. But I still
Well, and that's fucked up. But that is the type of world that we live in, and y'all allowing this Apple Jacks looking bitch on this show saying all this type of shit. And every time I think about Erica Mena, I'm gonna always think about Evelyn Lozada, because Evelyn, she was the OG. She was the one who started all that backwards, fucked up, colorist shit. And now y'all have strong crimson chin bitches like Natalie Nunn on baddies and shit, getting these girls to beat each other ass for a check. Like I just don't understand. Y'all allowed the wrong shit to represent the black community. Y'all allowing people who not even black to represent the black community on TV, and then you wonder why whenever we go out in the world, people just be like, "Oh well, Americans this and Americans that." Like damn, and it don't even be black Americans or white Americans. It's Americans in general. They just feel like we so like too much and just all this and all of that because of how y'all have us represented on TV. Because what? TV is universal. So the way y'all have us represented on TV, this is how everyone around the world is going to assume how just regular everyday black people act, because you have bitches like Evelyn Lozada and Erica Mena and Natalie Nunn out here representing what the fuck we are, and they not even us. But anyways, back to the regularly scheduled program. My bad.
But I see, other race stand next to me and they greet it. How are you doing? And it's just they looking at it. I don't get that respect.
So you always say that even when black.
Thank you, paralegal perspective. You're so funny. Hold on. I want to put your comment up. I'm just trying to get used to this whole StreamYard thing again. Curse dance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just yeah, they're not gonna play with me about, this Erica Mena thing, because you know how we already watched, Basketball Wives, and how we already don't fuck with Evelyn Lozada, but now we got bitches like Natalie Nunn on TV looking like SpongeBob and shit. It's just too much. It's just too much. But anyway, let's go.
People advance economically, we don't escape racism.
We don't escape it.
And then you think about history as of like the Tulsa massacre, right? Yeah. The race riots in Springfield, Illinois. Sometimes you become more of a target.
Yeah.
The more success you have as a black person.
Yeah.
That's 24/7.
Yeah. Anyway, when I was selling one of my properties.
But my thing is that y'all can agree and kiki and laugh about that. Bitches like Erica can't, because they don't know what it's like to be black. So stop giving them these platforms and allowing them to breed with the people in our community just to go back around and disrespect the very women who that nigga would have came from. Like I just don't understand why they feel like doing this was okay. And I didn't want to even review it because I'm just like, oh, okay, maybe I've kind of dragged this love and hip hop thing out. But I'm just like, no, let me just finish it because y'all never do nothing like this. Ever. Y'all don't ever do any type of, oh, round the table, let's get serious shit. It's always just something for a check, right? But this is why I was hesitant to even watch it because y'all gonna piss me off. But anyways, let's keep going.
My agent was like, you should kind of take some of this art down. You don't really want them to know the race of the house owner. Maybe you should change these pillows and these. And I was just sitting there thinking, it didn't make sense. I actually had a white person come in to set it up like it was hers. I felt like I saw a almost overnight thing. It was my first time being like, dang, it's everywhere.
I call it small city, big money.
Yeah.
Ran by the whites.
I didn't get a chance to graduate high school. And I had a Caucasian lady tell me I was going to be on welfare for the rest of my life. And I looked at her like, who are you? Like, you're not God. But we need conversations like this to shake up the community, to let them know, like, they can do it. That's why it's so important for me to use my voice.
So why did it take for no, because let me take my glasses off for this one. Y'all gonna piss me off. So why did it take for Erica to call Spice a monkey and to do all of these monkey voices and shit for y'all to have this conversation? If your voice is so important, and if it's so important to you to share your voice and to explain certain things, Miss Sierra, why did it take so long for y'all to sit and have this conversation? Why did it take for Spice to get embarrassed and dragged on TV by this high yellow beige bitch for y'all to have this conversation? I just want to know, because that's it sounds like some bullshit to me. And all over the internet, I'm just seeing people saying, "Oh, this is so fake. This is so fake," And I'm like, no, maybe let me give it a chance for real. Let's see if they actually got a little something coming. I'm not even 10 minutes in and y'all already pissing me off. Anyways, back to it.
I feel like God put me on television not to be cute, well, to look cute and wear my hair and stuff, but to actually open my mouth and say what needs to be said to the little girls that's looking up to me.
Yeah. And what about colorism? Have any of you seen it or experienced it?
Well, I actually did a project on colorism in 2018 where I had to use makeup to make it seem like I had bleached my skin to appear lighter. And so I went on a protest and I did a whole light face, I think.
Everybody remembers this, and they were like, Spice, what's wrong? What happened? Why are you bleaching your shit? And again, I was never really into love and hip hop like that, so I never really paid attention to it. But I remember this being all over the place, and I had no idea this was her kind of campaigning, like, oh, love yourself, yada, yada, yada. But y'all gotta do this a little more often. She shouldn't have had to get called a monkey on TV for y'all to have this conversation.
Everybody at the table had a glimpse of it. And it was just my way of protesting to say, do I have to look like this to be more appreciated? When I did a song called Black Hypocrisy, because I feel like there's a lot of hypocrisy within our Black community when it comes on to colorism as well. But as a darker skinned Black woman, I sadly have experienced racism and colorism.
Y'all should have let Spice and Erica have their own conversation. That's what I feel like y'all should have did, because now everybody around the table is like, oh yeah, I have this experience. Yeah, I have that experience. Yeah, I've dealt with this and dealt with that. But it, like I keep saying, it took for her to call Spice a monkey for y'all to have this conversation. So what I feel like y'all should have did was have Spice right here, Erica right here, this lady as the mediator, this therapist lady as the mediator, right? And then y'all could have recorded that conversation, be it scripted or not. I don't know. I feel like y'all should have did it that way, because everybody else's input is giving like who want to work late, who want to work later for some extra hours, who want to come in early for some extra hours. That's what that's giving. This whole thing. Okay.
Yes, majority of my life.
I experienced it. Yeah, absolutely. Man. You know when I pressed my hair?
Oh yes, that's a part of color.
Because look, Chris Brown did it.
Yeah.
He didn't catch the flag. Miguel did it.
That's true. I ain't gonna lie to you, niggas did clown him. I clowned him because it was like, okay, a pimp named Slick Back, purr. We getting back to the Temptations era. Remember that like second scene in the Temptations movie where they was getting their hair permed and shit? That's what that was giving.
When I did it,
it's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when we do it.
That's real.
But what it was is they felt like
So
the
Christopher is a they?
And then there's the singers, and that look like I'm trying to look more like them, and it's easily accepted because of their complexion already. Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? I always thought that like men didn't get it as bad as women because I got it, and I feel like I'm in the middle. You know, women love a chocolate man. You know, I didn't know. So, but when it comes to relationships, probably. But what I've noticed, with browner skinned men, they are more likely to get pulled over by the cops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They are more likely to be found guilty before they're even trying to be proven guilty by complexion. Guilty by complexion. I think when it comes to society forms, like it's very hard for Black men. I think even sometimes darker skin, even sometimes harder than it is for us. When it comes to society, getting a job, walking in to a restaurant, walking into a store.
But do you see how she was so quick to be like, yeah, because it's even harder for dark-skinned Black men. But were we just talking about dark-skinned Black women? Why do we have to jump into them? Because it's so easier and more palatable to discuss how Black men are treated in the world than it is for Black women. Even our own Black women just be like, yeah, but what about these men? That kind of is rubbing me the wrong way. And I know she's trying to make a point, and I understand that. But every time it's about us, somebody switch it over and turn it about something else.
Into a bank.
Trying to get a house.
Trying to get a house.
And we are talking about the community as a whole. This is what they're talking about. But we're specifically talking about what happened with Spice and Erica. So we're talking about a dark-skinned Black woman in this situation, not a dark-skinned Black man. Because again, would you consider Scrappy dark skin? I guess he's brown in my opinion. Honestly, yeah, he more brown. I wouldn't even say he light skin. Erica wouldn't have had the same energy for him. She wouldn't have been throwing those tables on that nigga if he would have said the same shit as Spice. But it's because no one respects our struggle. No one respects when we go through anything ever.
Zoom in a little bit to the incident that, incited this roundtable where Erica Mena used a racial slur against Spice.
Oh my God, I wouldn't know what would happen to me if something happens to Spice. And I said, well, damn, I was your wife pregnant. Almost lost my life and our baby. In a really dark time. I was in the hospital, which the whole world saw.
But why did you feel the need to compare us, though? Because at the time, you wouldn't have. And why? Why would you compare?
You're trying to he felt that way. I was his wife, and he felt nothing.
That don't have nothing to do with me if he felt nothing for you. So it's just confusing.
So you're telling me if you were in my shoes, you're telling me you wouldn't feel no type of way as a woman?
What do you mean if I was in your shoes? In what way? What do you mean? Because I feel like your problem is, Erica, you feel like you're the first woman to be divorced. That's the problem. I feel like you're acting like you're the first woman to be divorced, and you're the first woman that's left with 2 children.
She ain't right.
I've been doing it for 14 years. Welcome to the world. I'm doing it for nowhere. Okay? 16. Okay, with your son, I don't like you.
Woo! And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is what set that bitch off. Don't like me? What you mean he don't like me? How dare you say he don't like me? That's my kid. Fuck. How do you go from somebody saying that your kid don't like you to you calling him a monkey? And see, look, this doesn't even have as many views as it should have. 473,000 views. Yeah, it came out 4 days ago, but it should have more. It's because y'all don't actually care about these type of topics. Look, when she looked over, and then she flipped. Yeah, hold on. Where's Shekinah? Where's Shekinah? She was the ringleader of this shit. She was the one. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to cut that up because that was look at Spice, Amy, and Scrappy's face. They looking like, damn, this shit was fucked up, and it exactly because it was. But do you hear Shekinah in the back talking about what did y'all do? What did y'all do? Oh my gosh, yeah, she should be here as well because you were just as much a part of that as Erica and Spice was. Mm.
That bitch should have died. You want to mention my kid? You should have died, bitch. You monkey. You blue monkey. Safaree, your karma, bitch. You should have died, hoe. Serve your rights, Safaree, your karma, bitch. I know he's Amara. I told you, say never like I like girls. You piece of trash. Yo, I hate everybody that is let me out. Hey, I don't believe it.
That was terrible.
It makes my blood boil.
It gives me the chills every time I watch it.
It makes my head hurt and my blood boil. Like
Spice, it better be some vodka. You better be Annalise Keating this shit, girl. Because no, that was way too fucked up. That was awful. And watching that, that's what I'm saying. The fact that y'all are having her watch this shit again. Have Erica watch this shit again. Don't have Spice just doing it by herself. Because she was not the only one who was in there. Shekinah need to be on there. And Erica need to be there. Look at her. I would be like, no. Because I want to fight all over again. That would have been me. Like, ooh. All right.
Audacity to be so immersed in our culture. Love our men.
Love the black
children, proud of it, but can sit there and call a black person, not just a black woman.
Yandy, don't act so
make
surprised.
Monkey gestures, make monkey sounds.
That's exactly what I want to talk about is the history of that word, why it's so painful, why it's so hurtful. And I also want to give Spice a chance to react to that because I saw that you were very emotional just having to replay that.
Like, have y'all seen King Charles III? That nigga looked like a fucking monkey. He's looked like a monkey since the 60s. But y'all want to be talking about us. Okay. All right.
I done read in books. You know what I'm saying? I done seen it where they done put like real, like a human being, a black human being in a zoo and chained them up and treated them just like a monkey. And dressed them up and everything. Had people come pay to just look at them. When that something like that is said and like the way she said it, that's all I can think about.
I wanted to calm down first to kind of get over the situation. But I also want to take this opportunity to just educate because I feel like a lot of black people, they do not know the depth. Yes. And so even sometimes when I see the comments, I know that it's coming from an ignorant place. And I know that it's coming from a place where they themselves do not understand that our ancestors died, fought for our freedom, for our rights to even be here.
But my thing is, I'm tired of trying to educate people who can figure this shit out themselves. Like, if you, as another black person, get treated the same way as another black person does, be it positively or negatively, would you or not have something to say about that? And it's just like, well, I'm cool. I gave them the pass. I gave them all this. I gave them all that. That doesn't mean that little Jenny and Emma and Amy and them is going to do the same shit for me. So what I'm saying is, if y'all want to be educated and shit, that's what the fuck y'all got phones for. Hop on the Google, hop on Yahoo, do whatever the fuck you need to do and be educated because There's been 400 years of this shit. I don't have time. I'm not gonna, like, no. In Spice, I get it. It's like, well, we gotta teach them. You gotta learn. No. Because these are the same black people who came out of black women who have dealt with the same everything, microaggressions, just anything when it comes to teachers, the cops, the doctors, anything at all. From somebody saying your name wrong at attendance and you having to correct them every day of the school year. It's anything. It's rooted in everything. So if you're sitting here, you're telling me that it's time to educate. Nigga, if you're not learning after Mr. So-and-so said your name wrong every day out of the school year just because he can, because you did not feel like, oh, okay, I don't need to correct him, then I don't know what to tell you, because you should have been learning that lesson right then and there. So I just kind of feel like I'm tired of us saying, well, let's educate. Nigga, if you ain't been learning all this time, then I can't save you. You don't want to be saved. The fuck? What did Harriet say? She said she would have saved so many other slaves if only they knew y'all they were slaves. Y'all don't know nor care. So Spice, I love you, girl, but I'm not going to keep trying to teach people who have been living the same life as me the fact that all they're going to see at the end of the day is that skin. I'm not doing it.
To have a voice. When I heard what happened from Rasheeda, I was taken aback at first when Rasheeda said, you know, her child was mentioned, so she reacted. And I was like, you know, I had to be real. I'm a flawed human being. And I remember when my child was mentioned on a reunion show, I got up and I was ready to fight. Then my next reaction was, but why you into a racial slur?
Thank you.
And then I started to think, like, Dag, is she a racist? Like, what's that about? And I'm like, I got to talk to her. I don't think she's a racist. Like, I've spoken to her. So my first reaction was, nah, she's not a racist. She doesn't know what that term means. She's not educated about the violence that has for our community. I know that she doesn't know what this...
Yo, Yandy, why would she have said it if she didn't know what the fuck it meant? Let's keep it a buck, please. Why would she have said it if she didn't know what it meant? Like, I want y'all to really use your heads for a moment. And I know at the time it's like, oh, what is she, racist? Like, this is coming out of nowhere. But if somebody automatically goes from, oh, you talking about my kid, to you a monkey, that tells you that they've been in this shit for a minute now. That's their OG comeback. So don't... I'm sorry. I'm a chill out. I just feel like y'all really playing in my face for a check right now. And I know they busy. They have their own lives. There are celebrities or whatever. But this girl has never been any of y'all friends. My bad. It's my cat. And this isn't her first time showing her ass.
Means for our history and our people.
I want to be in the space where Yandy is and say she don't know that, but I'm not going, because I know she's culturally aware.
Thank you.
Thank you. Immersed in our culture.
Thank you.
To not know.
Come on now.
Because if you tell me you don't know, I'm gonna look at you sideways because you know too much more about too much other stuff.
Thank you. Hold up now. I might have to give Jock his props, because I was saying earlier, why is he there? He wasn't a part of none of this. I haven't even seen him in the last few episodes. But he just made a great point. This is exactly what I was just going on my tangent about. Bitch, you got black kids. You should know more than you're trying to pretend. And this is what I'm saying. You cannot sit here and birth these kids and just think that, oh, well, I'm just going to pretend like I don't know what I just said was really offensive. Oh, okay, my bad. It's my kitty cat. Get. Like, girl, you go. Let go. Oh! My bad, y'all. She's on my tapestry. Okay. Anyways, yeah, girl. Like, Jock is making good point. That's all I'm saying.
And have what my father would say, convenient amnesia. Mm-hmm. You use a convenient. Oh, I didn't know. No, you knew.
Like you know.
And when I know that you know, it's a slap in the face to pretend as if you don't. I ain't never seen it. Like how you, I ain't never had. I didn't either, because I did my little different places. So when I seen the little things saying, oh, they done fired and stuff like that.
Because your first live was I was like,
we all were. I said,
but then you came back after he did his research and educated on it.
I was so mad about that live.
We actually have clips of your live stream.
I feel about Erica getting fired. I don't know if that's real. I mean, I think that's pretty bozo for them to fire somebody. I don't know Erica at all. Like, at all. They can fire me. They know that.
Ooh.
I was drunk.
Yeah. See, boy, you better watch that mouth, or you really gonna get fired. But yeah, when he first said that, we was like, nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? She definitely said that shit, and it's not a bozo, and you better shut up so you can keep your check. What are you talking?
I was drunk. When you said that, I said, this.
I did not mean the words of that. I did not know the gravity.
This is why you need to shut up before you speak.
Damn. Okay,
So
let's watch the other one. He went to a whole nother location though.
Changed his t-shirt.
Started drinking some water.
Music ain't behind him.
Erica Miller was wrong.
That's what I'm saying. He's such a clown, bro.
Yeah.
We do know that. Racism is real. We do know that. See, what had happened was I ain't had seen it. So I'm like,
I've never seen
I'm looking at it like they two women, they probably just was, you know what I'm saying? It just was like that.
Yeah.
But then when I seen it, I was like, wow, like the way she said it, it was like real, like
intentional and deliberate. It came
like,
from the gut.
It came from the gut, like
Thank
from the,
you.
I'm talking about, like,
That's what made me change when I seen it. I'm like, ooh, I was like, and I was like, yeah, because I.
Meg, did you hear that? Yo, he's so stupid. Yo, I literally can't. He's so funny.
I've been really quiet. Not really. I told her how I felt about it. I told her I was like, you wrong. The term monkey was systematically used to dehumanize the whole Black race.
We know this.
It was shocking coming from someone that I know, but I have received racism almost all my life. So being in a racism situation is not new to me. However, since I'm the one in the hot seat and the whole situation stirred from me and her having a discussion, I vividly want to point out and make sure that everyone is aware that I did not come for her child. A lot of people are saying, you brought up the child or whatever it is. She brought up her own son. And so when she brought up her son, I replied and said, to the son that doesn't like you, because I wanted to be clear. Some people were saying they feel like I should be fired too for coming for Erica's parenting. On Love and Hip Hop show itself and its franchise, there's so many different occasions where
she didn't call nobody a slur. This is what I'm saying. If you can't take the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. I didn't even think about the fact that Erica was the one who brought up the son. I'm sorry. My cat is trying to get out. Let me let her out. She won't hush. Come on. Come on. There you go. Whew. My bad, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Erica was the one who brought up her kid, and Spice was like, "Oh, the one who don't like you." I didn't even think about that. So she is right that technically Erica was the one who brought him up, but I never saw anything about Spice needing to be fired either. Like, she was the one who threw a slur.
People came for people's parenting.
As we all do,
So you feel like you
I see that's always done. Yeah, I came for her parenting too. When you're a wife,
hello.
I wrote.
so is that why you don't want to pay child support?
Sierra.
Oh my God.
I don't like your dumbass because you crunchy sometimes too. But thank you, because he definitely did. And I've been saying this all this time since this episode came out, of when Erica and Scrappy was fighting on them chairs. I've been saying this. He said the same shit, and she ain't throw no table on his dumb ass. I've been saying this, and you're the first one to have actually brought that shit up. So why she ain't flip no tables on him? Answer. Quickly. Expeditiously, right now. Because she don't got no smoke for that nigga. She don't like Spice because Safaree wanted to fuck on Spice. Period.
What about my son? What about my son? You're acting like you know something.
Because I know something about your son.
Crap, you watch things. You watch things. A lot of people came for her parenting on Love and Hip Hop. Let's be very clear now. She chose to call me a monkey, and not Scrappy, who asked her, "Where's your son?" When she decided, "Oh, Scrappy is a deadbeat." Scrappy was like, "Listen, let me worry about mine. Where's your son?" Scrappy did not become a monkey.
Yeah.
My whole takeaway is tying back to the color of my skin makes me seem like, oh, the aggressor or whatever. Because I'm of a darker skin tone, they painted me now to be the angry black woman. Mm-hmm. I can take full accountability for coming for her parenting. Her reply could have been a million other words that's in her vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Why
we know this,
a racial slur?
So what are we going to do? What are going to be the real consequences?
When I received that racism from someone that I know, it was a shocker.
Because Erica's not getting embarrassed. Spice is getting embarrassed right now because she has to keep reliving this shit, keep talking about it. So what are we going to do to cause Erica to be embarrassed? Are we going to do a Game of Thrones where we're having her walk down the street yelling shame with a bell behind her? Are we going to do this? Because I'm with that. Because at this point, this bitch needs to be just as embarrassed as Spice was. Period.
So for someone to say it to your face, you're like, oh my God, this is who she are. I feel like I left that situation the winner because I revealed a racist. And I don't care what nobody else want to say. A racist was revealed. Yeah. So 400 years ago, our slave masters would call us monkeys to categorize us, to dehumanize us. So it was a tactic to justify racism. So it was a tactic used to justify racism to make us seem as we're primates. Yeah. And so this is a deeply rooted slur that has nothing to do with me. It goes way, the history, the burden, the blood, the slashes, the tears and the fights and everything is attached to this word.
I went to Ghana and I went to the slave dungeons. When I say the realization of how they thought we did not matter, we were less than humans. We were people that needed to be in captivity, that needed to be chained by our ankles, chained by our hands. And even being, when I stood in that slave dungeon, when you walk from the outside of the dungeon to the inside of the dungeon, you can feel like the stickiness of the bottom of the floor. And I remember asking, why does the floor feel like this? It felt waxy and sticky. And they said, that is the remains of your ancestors that did not make it.
Yes.
It wasn't about looking and dehumanizing to make you feel like, and in that moment, you were less than the animal. We don't even treat dogs like that.
Yes.
When they fed us in the slave dungeons, they would throw pieces of bread and meat through a little hole. And literally, only the survival, the stronger ones could get to the food. So you had to literally step on people.
Like a monkey.
Like the crab in the barrel. That's what, there's so much about this society. There's so much about the way we are. Tying that word to who we are that started 400 years ago. Yes. Like we had to climb on top of each other's back to get the food that they.
And again, y'all need to have Erica's ass sitting in the middle somewhere with a muzzle so she cannot respond and call nobody else no more slurs, and let her hear how y'all feel about the fact that she said this shit. Her sitting at home watching this shit on her TV or on her phone or on her iPad or shit, it's not going to penetrate the same way. It's not. Yandy, we know. Spice, we know. And I'm just getting a little annoyed, and I'm starting to regret that I even reviewed this because now y'all pissing me off. Because now y'all just trying to sit here and replay the Trump. Like, all right, yo, everybody done seen Roots. Maybe y'all need to sit Erica down and have her watch Roots or some shit. I don't know what the fuck y'all need to do, because at this point, it's getting to the point where it's just a little like, Let's just keep repeating the trauma. I would feel better listening to this over and over and over again if I knew that Erica was right there in the room feeling bad about all this shit, but she's not.
Dropped down at the slave dungeons. So the weak ones, they didn't eat. The weak ones died, and then guess what? We're stepping on them.
You don't need to keep retelling our history to our people. This is what I'm saying. I don't need to be educated. I know.
So the person on your currency,
I live it.
Said this.
Y'all live it. Y'all just got money.
The first difference which strikes us is that of color. Okay, so notice how he nitpicks the features, right? And is this difference of no importance? Is it not the foundation of a greater or less share of beauty in the two races? Add to these flowing hair, a more elegant symmetry of form, their own judgment in favor of the whites declared by their preference of them, as uniformly as the preference for the orangutan for the Black woman over those of his own species. The circumstances of superior beauty is thought worthy attention in the propagation of our horses, dogs, and other domestic animals. Why not in that of man? Besides those of color, figure, and hair, there are other physical distinctions proving a difference of race. Okay, and so this is what one of the founding fathers of this country, this is the ideology, the narrative, right, that we now know are lies, that was belief taken as fact. That is what this country was founded on, right? And so when we talk about why these words matter, and when we talk about racism versus colorism, we see that those things are intimately intertwined. Yep. Where I call racism and colorism like fire and smoke. Where there's one, you're going to see the other. They're not the same thing, but they always like to tag team, right? So here he's talking about how do we know that there's a difference in race? Well, let's start by looking at color, right? Let's start by looking at the hair.
Me, I'm Black, but I have nieces and nephews who are half Puerto Rican and half Black, and the Black women come up and say, is this your nephew? Is this your niece? They're so pretty. And they only say it to my half Puerto Rican nieces. It just made my blood boil so bad because from an aunt perspective, I looked at my nieces, the full Black ones that look like me, and they are just standing there because she's used to her little sister getting the praise. And I told the Black lady, I said, you don't see all my Black nieces here? They're all beautiful. She's like, yes, they are. And I'm looking at her like, what is wrong? How can we fix this? Yeah. This was a Black woman, though. It's so deep to the self-hatred that they instilled in us, to feeling.
It ain't even just about the color of your skin. It's about the texturism. You know, we don't know what her niece's hair looked like that day. You know what I'm saying? But if you're saying that she complimented the biracial one, her hair was probably longer, you know, looked more tangible to take care of. And then your other full Black nieces, their hair probably was a little kinky. You know what I'm saying? It's not just colorism, it's also texturism. And shout out to my mom for like allowing me to see that, because I always just thought, oh, it's just a color thing. It's featureism and it's also texturism as well. So this shit is deeply rooted in everywhere. And this is what I'm saying. I don't have time to keep trying to teach a grown-ass adult about the shit that they live every day. If you're not learning from your life, then you're just choosing to be ignorant. And someone who's choosing to do that cannot be helped.
Like, lighter is brighter. It's better.
Yeah. So do you all think that what happened with Erica Mena was an instance of racism or colorism or both? What are your thoughts on that?
I think she has been told, I don't know her personally, but I know from experience that I think that she has been told her entire life that you look better than Black women feature-wise. Your hair is better. Your skin is better. It's a thing.
When you're allowed into a culture,
of course it's a thing.
You're allowed to live amongst the culture, say the same, breathe it,
and camouflage in.
Right. But listen, but somewhere in there, when you start feeling
superior,
you're not necessarily superior.
But it's because you come around us, don't feel that way. No, it is the word.
It's because when you said camouflage, it's kind of like you camouflage in. I'm like you, almost like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a minority too. And that's what she said. Right? On the colorism side, or the concept of what people may feel preference may be. When it comes to Black men, a lot of cats is always using that term. I want something foreign. I want this and that, a Spanish chick. Or
red. I want something red.
It will make somebody feel like they are better because your man is sitting here it's in the song. Listen to the music. Listen to the songs. So somewhere in there, you gotta, when you use the term systemic, it's not always just coming from an outside
Been
source.
quiet all this time. Every time you open your mouth, you actually do got something to say. Let me find out. You know what you talking.
Yeah, for sure. But this is the thing. Nowhere in our culture, if I sit at a table with you, if I sit at a culture and I'm across from people of Hispanic background, we might say to each other, "Child, please," like, and it's accepted amongst them. Even if you're immersed in Black culture, yes, that is accepted to a certain extent. Yes, we ain't never ever be like, monkey, please. We don't do that. That is not something that's accepted in our culture. Whether you're
so
Black
not as
culture or
bad.
not. The reason it doesn't have the same implications if I said because we've gotten to a place.
And it doesn't have the same implications.
We've gotten to a place.
I don't give a damn. What?
So what Yandy
Hold up now. Hold up now. See, this is what I'm saying. These conversations, there's so many ways to branch off to this stuff. So what I'm saying is that this bald-headed bitch needs to be right here smack dab in the middle of this conversation because she think that, okay, well, I just called her blue monkey and I'm not going to take it back because she said something about my kids. But then when your kids, right, Safaree's children, when they grow up and they see that you like to call beautiful Black women monkeys and shit, how the fuck you think they're going to feel about you, bitch? Because it's like, oh, well, mom, I'm half Black. But what you're going to do is you're going to raise them to think, well, you're better than the full Black. You're not completely Black because you're mixed with what I got. So you're better than that. And this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. Like, this bitch not going to stop. She's not going to stop. And she's going to continue to cycle on because she's not really learning that, honey. Keep playing with the right one and you're going to get your feelings hurt. Play where it's safe. But Jock is absolutely correct. Like, I even have to catch myself sometimes allowing people of no color, not just white people, but other people of no color to pass saying that, even like with some of the people that I entertain and I date who are not Black, you know, sometimes I notice that I let them slide saying the N-word and shit, and it's just like, oh no, I can't do that. I don't care if you're, you know, Latino or not. I can't let you slide saying the N-word because you're not Black. And you don't need to be calling me one, you need to be calling nobody one. So Jock is absolutely correct. He's just kind of like, well, it don't matter what the fuck you look like. You're not gonna be saying nigga, period. And y'all gotta understand, Yandy, she grew up in New York, right? In Harlem. They're very immersed with a lot of, you know, Latin culture. So them niggas grow up saying nigga. Nigga is the first word that come out they fucking mouth. So it's one of them things where we have probably gotten too comfortable with allowing people to just be like, all right, well, because you kind of get treated the same way as Black people, you get to say it. Or I'm gonna just let you, you know, we shouldn't even be saying the shit if you want to be honest, but it's just so immersed in everything. That's been a part of everybody's vocabulary. But when we catch some white person, we say, cut that shit out. Not right here. Not in front of me. Nah, I let y'all know that. I don't let no white people say that shit in my face.
Just trying to say is that regardless of whether you think the N-word is bad or not, it is accepted as a part of Black culture.
Yeah,
monkey has never been.
We've never found that.
Yeah, we don't.
So let me finish the point.
I'm trying to think. Of course, when you're in like middle school and stuff, and people be, you know, cracking jokes on each other, y'all have jokes and all that shit. I can't ever recall myself cracking a monkey joke with somebody that wasn't Black, and I can't even really recall cracking a monkey joke with anybody that was Black. But I guess I understand where Yandy's coming from, but I also understand where Jock coming from. So maybe he needs to run some of these some of these round table conversations, because he don't say much, but when he do, he does make a very valid point.
So what you were saying about, you know, non-Black people who are a part of the culture, who are accepted into the culture, they can't claim that for why they use the term.
No, because we don't play like that.
It shouldn't be allowed in no kind of way.
There are blurred lines.
No kind of, it ain't to me. It is. I mean, but you gotta think though. In the past, it wasn't. You go back, it wasn't blurred. It was this what it is. You who you is, and I'm who I am, and you keep that some kind of way. they blurred it. I'm
not gonna lie. I didn't know it was blurred until I went to New York. When I went to New York, that's because the people, the different race in Atlanta can't say around us.
Yeah.
But when I went to New York, and I was like, how are you saying that? Yeah. But we grew up. See, I grew up amongst Latinas, Latinos. And that is something that we blurred the line. But even in that, right?
See,
if you're around different, but if you come and you're a different nationality, if you're a different race, and you say that word to a different group of people that ain't used to, you come to Atlanta and you Puerto Rican and you be like, please, they might not receive you. You've crossed the line with them.
But also, I want to acknowledge your perspective, Scrappy, because if we're making the argument that the historical harm of a word means it's off limits, then that's where your argument is coming from, right? So just like the word monkey is off limits because of that historical harm, the degradation and the violence that it led to, the N-word has also caused the same degradation.
I thought they're supposed to be equal.
No, they ain't. Oh, excuse my language. No, they say. Hold on, wait. They're working. They are. I feel like a racial slur. John, you playing?
Yeah.
Anybody who say the N-word
Every
as a
time I give
monkey
these props, you fuck
because
up.
it was used to categorize us as slaves, and there's I feel like a racial slur is just a racial slur.
And so that's the question too. If we let certain things slide, do we then say, oh well, if you let that slip, then why not let the word monkey slip?
Why do we have to be the ones to jump rope, gymnastic, Circus Soleil type this shit when we didn't start it? This is what I'm trying to like. And then these white people, they get to hop out of this conversation because they have so deeply rooted everything. First it was racism, and then it turned into colorism, and now it's featureism, texturism, all kinds of shit now. They're not the ones jumping through hoops trying to figure out, well, what about this blurred line? What about, like, I just don't understand. I feel like now all of a sudden everybody want to have this conversation because y'all allow this respected Black woman to get embarrassed on national television, and no one has even said sorry to her, really, in my opinion, at the fact that she has gotten embarrassed by this beige ass bitch. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are we doing here? What are we really doing? Like, y'all playing everybody's face,
right? And so maybe we do gatekeep the culture a little bit more. And so we also have the element of the color blue and purple colors, like even when we use the word Black as an insult. Yeah. Right. So we're talking, Black pride. We're so proud to be Black. I love being Black. And yet, how often have we heard growing up, and even to this day, Black being used as an insult?
All the time. Yeah.
Sit your Black self down.
All the time. I've heard it all my life.
You so Black, my disappear when they turn the lights.
That did not start from us, though. We didn't start insulting each other with, you Black this, you Black that.
I'm a beautiful woman. And I hate when people say, oh, you're so pretty for a Black girl. Take the word Black out of it. I'm a beautiful woman, and I'm proud of who I am. Like I say, I'm proud of my color, I'm not bleach. Yeah. So the complexion that I have has always been a target, as they think, to use to insult me. Erica, she said, I have Black children, and I have I have a Black husband. That doesn't mean that you're not racist, and it doesn't mean that you're not a colorist. So I think sometimes people, that's the go-to for someone that is a racist. I got Black friends. How can I be a racist?
Always.
You might be a racist, but a Black person, it doesn't mean that you're a Black person. You won't use your power to degrade the race. And sometimes people get mixed up with fetish, Black fetish. That's what. And also, I like the fact that my babies will be brown skinned. Mm-hmm. Right. They go to tanning salons all the time to be. That does not mean you are not racist. But hold on. They don't want them too Black though. They don't want them to come out too Black. Right. But they'll go in the tanning salon and the sprays and get too Black. Yeah. All the time. They'll even braid their hair with coarse, thick. And it goes from not just wanting and fetishizing our culture, then it's cultural appropriation, where it's like, I did it, I created the cornrows, and now it's right, now it's great. When we are told, you can't come to work like that, but when another ethnicity of superiority or more power, it's more appealing. Now it's acceptable.
So I got a question. So what is it called when Black women walk around with this straight hair or these
Because I can change the way.
Fashion.
Yeah,
it's an add-on like y'all tattoos.
So I'll tell you what I think is different.
It depends on how the person is
don't
using
piss
it.
me off.
So
I was just saying your praises, nigga. Do not piss me the fuck off. I hope he was genuinely just asking a question just to keep the conversation going, you know, just to actually have the conversation. But don't piss me off. Because at the end of the day, we started this shit. Black women started this shit. Don't sit here and say, so what happens when y'all wearing these straight wigs and shit? Don't play with me. Do not play with me. Because again, who's getting Scandinavian bundles, nigga? Not me, not Spice, not Yandy, not even Kendra, your wife. So do not play.
Do not love themselves the way they are. And I can take, for example, not every Black woman would proudly wear their natural hair like this beautiful woman sitting right here because they have a lot of self-hate. They don't love themselves.
And also, Jock, since you got your degree and you think you know every fucking thing, did you know that the Crown Act, what happened? Like, was it overturned or something? Like, Black women are finally able to wear their hair since like 2014 because of the Crown Act. Our real hair. In the army, at the regular job, as essential workers, we're finally allowed to wear our real hair because for hundreds of years and for decades, they have told us, you got to cover your shit up. So when we say, oh, Beckiana don't need to have these crooked ass banana braids in her fucking head because she's going to get alopecia in her shit, and y'all say, oh, it's just a hairstyle, and her shit fall the fuck out. We say this because, one, we're trying to help you, but also, bitch, if I can't wear it, you can't wear it. And this is what I'm saying. Y'all love to disrespect Black women and walk over us when it comes to any scenario, to anything. So again, who's buying Polish bundles to put in their fucking head, Job? You tell me, because I seen a video as to how Spice's hair would be made, and it's nothing but fucking plastic. The synthetic shit is plastic. Now, she got the money. I'm sure she got the Peruvian bundles, you know what I'm saying, because she got coins. But nobody's getting no German bundles to put in their fucking head.
Enough to wear their natural hair. So they feel like the add-ons and the thing makes them look better or whatever.
Because society showed them that the kinky hair ain't pretty.
Take her wig off and go around with her natural hair. I take my wig off all the time. I'm just always performing. I like mine's blue. So that's the persona that I created as Spice. But I love myself in my natural form.
Spice, do you feel like that's a self-hate or what the society made them feel? There are women who feel that way.
Society will make you feel that way because in Jamaica, for example, where I come from, or everywhere people bleach their skin and alter their appearance.
But so that's the answer to Jock's question.
Yes.
And why, you know, when Black women wear their hair straight, it's different than when people who are not Black wear our hairstyles and act like they invented it, right? Because they're doing it because, oh, it's trendy, oh, it's cute, I can be popular, I can come up, right? Black women have done it historically because it was the only way to get hired.
So we got to make this shit creative.
Would not treat us fairly because of the discrimination. So the Crown Act, so they actually had to pass policies so that Black women and all Black people, to be honest, don't face hair discrimination at work.
They're still sending kids and putting kids out of school for wearing locks and wearing their hair how they want. Just this little boy, like at the beginning of September, got kicked out of school. I seen it on TikTok. They put him in in-school suspension because he had locks in his head. And now the school is getting sued because you cannot discriminate against someone because of their fucking hair. This is what we're saying. Erica, your ass need to be there. And she all on the internet talking about something, oh, I should have been there. It's so funny. This is interesting, yada, yada, yada. But even if you were there, would you have been receptive? I feel like it would have been talking to, like, watching some paint dry if you actually did have her sitting there while they're having this conversation. And she seems honestly like the type of person to be like, well, that's not true, or just always have a rebuttal to something, you know? So, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on whether or not she should have been there because I just know she know how to trigger somebody and piss them off with saying the wrong shit.
Get fired or get suspended from school or sent or told they can't walk across the stage or participate in a wrestling match because they have locks or because they have natural hair, right? And so white people have never faced that discrimination regardless of how they wear their hair.
Yeah, they do that in black schools. Because I mean, when I hear like crazy, like when I see a beautiful black woman, right, of color, okay, and then I look around and then it's past the hair. Now you're contouring y'all noses to look like you're more European. And I'll be lost with that a little bit. I ain't gonna kick it. Yeah.
Let me get directly to it because I feel like we internalize racism as well. Mm-hmm. If I did not come here with this hair that does not belong to me and I wore my natural hair, my same people, the black people, would comment so negatively about me. Why she couldn't do her hair?
This is so true.
Why she couldn't fix up herself? Why she never cream out her?
The black man is sitting here saying, yo, I want this complexion, I want this foreign chick. Then y'all sitting here, and please don't beat me up, y'all. But y'all are sitting here every day, you embellishing yourself to look closer to that what your man is saying he won't. So the woman who got these things your man say he won't, she's getting put in these videos, she's getting a front seat for the look. Naturally, do you think she's gonna feel like she looks better or is more superior than you? You let people into your culture so much, and they start looking at everything you got going on, and they start realizing like, well, they trying to look like us.
They trying to look like us.
Now I will give Jock this. He is being neutral. He's not like sticking to one side. He's not sticking to another side. He's being neutral. He's asking the good questions. But again, them bitches trying to look like us. Fuck a contour nose, nigga. Fuck a contour nose. Because have you seen Iggy Azalea? She wasn't born with all that ass on her back. She bought that shit. Cash money. Cha-ching. So don't don't do that. Don't say we trying to Europeanize ourselves when the Europeans is taking everything from us and trying to turn it into something that they created. Fuck you talking about a contour nose. Like, okay, and a bitch wants some makeup. What are you saying?
Lip injections with the tans.
Thank you.
I think when you immerse with a culture that you love so much, no, because you gotta understand.
It's just like they do like this.
These girls are trying to look like us. Absolutely. I wanted to be very clear.
Yeah, and I just realized there's only 2 men there. Yep, from the cast, there's only 2 men there. Y'all gotta redo this shit again. Y'all gotta have everybody there. Because so everybody has a different opinion and a different approach when it comes to their life and how they walk as a black person every day. And now they trying to say, oh, it's switch. This shit ain't switch, my nigga. They have always been trying to be us. And now they're trying to add a little razzle dazzle, and you're like, oh yeah, now y'all trying to contour y'all nose. Bitch, maybe I can just beat my face a little bit better than her. How about that? What are you talking about?
Where in Black history did we get confused that we're trying to look like that? When we look and take the original face and shape, and then I look at my auntie, my granny, my mama, our slave, all of them. I'm like, you bought them lips. Not talking like a white woman. I'm looking at the lips at the same. I'm just saying, you.
Hold up now. Do y'all know about Sarah Bartman? Because, you know, Yandy's talking about let's educate. Then let's educate for real. Let's go all the way back then. Because Sarah Bartman was a black woman with a voluptuous body, the boobies in the bottom, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. These white men fetishizing her so much that they putting her up in zoos so people can watch her like she's a fucking animal. And what do after she died? They preserve her body so they can continue to watch her like a fucking animal. And then what do? They create these outfits for white women to wear in Europe where it look like they got a big ass when it's nothing but a whole bunch of plastic and fabric to make it look like they have a butt. So again, you niggas have to do y'all education, because don't come in here saying, oh, y'all trying to swap spots and shit when they always been trying to come for what we got and then say it's theirs. That's how you get the old okey doke run on your ass. Like, oh, my bad. I ain't know I had that shit first. You just took the shit and you just added. No. Let's do our real education, please.
Didn't buy those lips to look like Sarah. You bought her to look like Keisha. Yeah, like I didn't buy these lips. I didn't buy these lips to look like Sarah. I bought these lips to look like goddamn Spice and that part. But we have this confusion in Black community that Black women are trying to be European. But I'm sitting here saying, look at Queen Neffy, look at it. The jewelry, the hair clips. She was on the same tip.
No, but Black women are the ones with the lips. Let's be very clear.
Like Spice has also said, is that there are Black people who don't like the way they look.
Yes, they are.
Right.
Definitely
yes,
Black people who think
yes.
the European
and the
look
system creates that place for them to feel
exactly.
inferior as well.
Yes. So also, because we're talking about racism, that is one of the tools of racism is to try to make us hate ourselves. So when we talk about low self-esteem, when we talk about internalized hatred for ourselves, they purposely implanted those ideas in us because they knew
up. Do y'all
that
not
they
know
could
that
dominate.
Black
So
people?
when we are fighting amongst ourselves, we are hating ourselves. It's
a
easier
mess. It's everything.
to
It's in
marginalize
everything.
So let's talk a little bit more about the.
They will literally be sitting there until kingdom come, trying to unpeel all this shit that we go through every day. For like, it will take the rest of the year. Because, like I said, there's so many different ways to branch off, and how all of this shit is connected to everything. Everything.
Overlap or the blurring of the lines between the Latinx community, the various Black communities across the diaspora. You all have already started to touch on that a little bit. So I want to know, what's your understanding of a racial identity versus your ethnic identity, right? Because a lot of times we confuse race and ethnicity, right? Race has a lot to do with your ancestry and your phenotype, whereas ethnicity takes into account your culture. And so can you be Black and Puerto Rican? Are there Puerto Ricans who also identify as Black, right?
Absolutely.
Because there's African Americans.
Right.
I mean, Black Americans, white Americans. You got Black Puerto Ricans.
When your mama Black or your daddy Black, right?
Yeah, you're Black.
And then sometimes when it comes to race, people opt in or they opt out.
Yeah.
And I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Ethnicity and what is it? And nationality or something like that. That'd be kicking my ass. I'd be getting confused for real. But again, you have to want to learn these things.
Right? Sometimes people say, I'm an Afro-Latina proudly. And then other times people say, I am Puerto Rican and Dominican. And they do not necessarily identify with the African side of their history.
Yeah. So where do you think that comes from? When people distance themselves, or when people deny African ancestry, or when people, even if they look crazy, Black, they try to say, oh no, I'm not Black.
They look delusional.
Right. Where do you think that comes from?
System. Yeah.
System, people.
Every single thing about the American society, we get paid less. The lighter you are, the more you make. Even if there are identical educational backgrounds, if two people walk in to get a job and I'm browner and you're lighter, there is a higher percentage that you'll get more money. Yeah. If I'm driving here and you're driving there, we're both that alike, it's more likely for the darker person to get pulled over than the lighter and to be harassed than anything else. So in this society, absolutely, it takes off a bit of pressure and a bit of oppression to say, I'm not Black. Because you get to reap the privileges and the benefits of being that other, whatever that other thing.
But what about the ones who can't say that they're not Black? What are they supposed to do? Because I can't take my skin off. I can't put no white shit on either if I tried. So what am I supposed to do? What is people like Jock supposed to do? What is Spice supposed to do? Just allow people to keep trying to take my culture and then penalize me for saying I why you doing that shit, or I don't call me a slur? Answers quickly.
That's true.
You're not hated.
We're a visible society. When you look at me, I can't take off my Black.
Me neither.
You look at me, you're gonna see that
Shut
I'm
up,
Black.
Sierra.
So
We
I gotta
know.
live in it, and I gotta own that and everything that comes with that.
We know it's not. It's never all in any group, right? But when it becomes a pattern, right, then we still have to address it. And that brings up the idea of desirability, right? And who's considered desirable in media. You talked about it already in the music lyrics and the music videos, right? How the lighter skinned girls are the racially ambiguous girls. One was the lighter skin tones, the wavy hair, are seen as the love interest, are seen as the ones that all the guys are falling in love with and chasing. And sometimes you don't even see dark skin.
These days, I see a lot of brown skin.
It is changing.
I have a light complexion. My baby girl is light, and I feel like I have seen some lighter complexion women be like, well, dark skinned women get this. They get this right here. They look at us and be like, oh, we too light or something like that.
But it's still because of how we were raised, though, in some type of way.
Because so much of us here of color is at the table when we speak on colorism. Light-skinned people also receive colorism, and I feel like that's something we also need to point out and not just make it seem like it's just us. I have light-skinned friends who have also received colorism.
So I have to chime in here. If someone is prejudiced against a light-skinned woman, does that equal a social system and where that light-skinned woman is demeaned or degraded beneath darker-skinned people?
No.
Right. And so those women are still not systemically placed beneath darker skin. They're still systemically elevated, systemically propped up. I'm so glad you brought up, because people don't know that even within the race, even amongst Black people, there's income inequality. There's educational inequality, even amongst Black people, because of this.
But do they know it though?
Thank you.
Do they know it though?
A lot of people don't. I also have to say, in order for those lighter-skinned and mulatto women to exist, they have to first rape dark-skinned, non-mixed Black women. And so all of us have experienced that type of violence. All of us have been.
You didn't know? No. I didn't even think that deep.
Amy, we know that you have another engagement, so we are so appreciative of the contributions you made to the conversation so far.
You better not leave your ass.
I just wanted to say one thing to you, Spice. When they attack one, they attack all. It's time for us to lift up and say, hey, no. I just wanted to say that.
For real. We love you, Amy.
I love you, sis.
I got you.
So we left off talking about what happens when we see the harm, when we see the racial slurs, and how people are held accountable. I know, Yandy, you mentioned a moment where you tried to confront Erica and hold her accountable. We're going to take a look at that clip right now.
Calling a Black person a monkey. Listen, I was offended.
You see how she laughed? Like, oh yeah, that was funny. I would have knocked all the fucking veneers out her fucking face. Are you joking? Are you serious? Especially to another Black person that's coming to you asking, or no, saying, like, calling a Black person a monkey is not cool, and you automatically just start kikiing and shit. Bitch, you're gonna be picking up your teeth off the floor at this point. Because what are you saying to me? What's so fucking funny? Because I'm not laughing. You won't be laughing either once you leave here.
And let me tell you, because you chose to be offended. No. I was offended.
Because you know me.
No one's going to.
And then because you chose to be offended. That is the worst thing that you can ever say to somebody. Oh, you chose to be upset about this. You chose to. No. Your intention was to make me feel some type of way. I acted accordingly afterwards. So again, Spice and Erica, they need to have another one-on-one. When Spice is healed up, they need to get in the fucking ring, because Erica needs her ass whooped. Spice get a table to start the shit with, and then the rest is just hands.
Violate me using my child. There's no boundaries at that point. Once you cross that line, I even told her she should have died on that table. But what you said to her,
you see how she's like, I even told her she should have died on it. She's proud of this shit. You cannot teach somebody like that anything. You can't. She's proud of it. She's like, you know what? And I told that bitch she should have died. After you just told her that you, Sierra, and Bambi, the whole Typeface squad, was just praying for her and fasting for her. Girl, you're real delulu, and you are a poor excuse for a human. Real shit. Real shit. And I hope your daughter doesn't grow up to become darker, because good Lord, I have no idea how you treat her, but you know what? Just because you are the spiteful little shit that you are, the universe is going to give you exactly what the fuck you deserve. Because this here, you didn't even listen to what Yandy had to say. I've seen this clip so many times. She didn't even listen to what she said. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna stand on it. You know, there's no coming back from that. I even told her she should have died. There's no saving your ass. None. So the universe is going to do its thing.
You insulted every person of African descent. No. Let me explain to you guys that want to be offended by it. You think I want to be offended by 400 years of slavery? The reason why I have 20.
You obviously do want to be offended. So it was obviously our fault that our ancestors got snatched up and brought over here. Okay. But it's and she says it's 2023 and yet you're still saying crooked shit like this out of your fucking mouth. Bitch, you need to evolve. Not Yandy. You.
Yeah.
And again, where is Safaree? I haven't heard him say shit. I think the only thing I heard him say was, oh, it was bogus that they fired her. Nigga, you just want to make sure that she's still paying for them kids, not you. The fuck? You don't care that she actually got fired?
Why, as minorities, are we comparing ourselves to something that... The problem, Erica, this is the problem.
Why is us as minorities? You don't fucking count, bitch, because you don't think you're a minority. You haven't grown up thinking that you're a minority because you got light skin. Okay? This is what we be talking about. Man, I wish they wouldn't even show this because now I'm really getting pissed watching it over and over and over again. Because she's still sitting here in your face saying like, why is we as minorities? No, ain't no we, bitch. Because you didn't call yourself a monkey. That wasn't no we, a kumbaya, oh, let's do this shit together. That wasn't that. You were calling all dark-skinned black people monkeys. That's what the fuck that you was doing. And it's, oh, why do we as a minority have to play the race card? Because when your daughter grows up and she sees that you said this crooked shit, she gonna want to beat your ass. Like, Mom, what did you mean by that? And you're gonna have to explain yourself. And they don't ever think about this, ever. But you want to say, oh, I blacked out. Girl, fuck you.
I want to know. What I don't understand. And this is exactly why I wanted to have the conversation with you.
I hated every single thing about that scene. And I went in there so humble, like really trying to be a friend and educate her in this moment. It was like the Montgomery Brawl. When she said monkey, it was like she threw up the white hat. Like, you summoned every black person in the community when you called Spice a monkey. But I wanted to educate her as to what this means for me, because I went in there really thinking she just used that term unknowingly.
No.
She probably had implicit bias, but she's not a racist. And I remember, you know, Rasheeda and Kirk was there as well. And there was a conversation where she was trying to say, well, I did this because she assaulted my mother. And then she said, and I'll do it again.
The bitch crossed the line. She violated me by coming for my son. And I will do it all over the again if she does it again. It's just point blank, period. You're not going to violate me using my kid in any type of way.
So you're saying you would say the same thing all over again?
I didn't say I would say the same thing. If I have to violate this bitch for talking about my kid, I will. Okay?
She said this shit to everybody on TV. So everyone who wants to be like, oh, Erica this, Erica that, fuck y'all. Because she said this shit that she would do it again. She said it. So that means she has no remorse. She has no remorse, and that means she called you, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, and your great granny a fucking monkey if you talk about her kid. That is basically what the fuck she just said.
Rasheeda, me and her both just left feeling like, dang.
You just got to take full accountability for your actions. If you did wrong, just say sorry by mine.
Well, I
people don't want to admit when they're racist.
I don't really agree with that either. I just feel like there's so much performative apologizing where it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for what I did, and I'm going to use my platform to racially educate, and I believe in inclusivity.
Sound like a PR.
It sounds like a publicist wrote that for you, and you did that because you're losing jobs or because the world has canceled you.
So I'm going to read the apology. She said, I deeply regret my insensitive comment and want to humbly apologize to anybody I hurt or offended by my thoughtlessness. My choice of words was wrong, and I take full responsibility for what I said. I am committed to listening to the voices of those affected and will work toward making amends. As a woman of color and the mother of 2 Black children, I want to make it clear that my use of the word was not in any way racially driven. That said, I do understand the gravity of what I said and want to use my platform to promote inclusivity and equality. So Spice, as the person who received the racial slur, it's important to understand how you would have liked the situation to be handled. What does accountability look like for you?
I take accountability for coming for Erica's parenting. But it doesn't sound to me like she wants to take accountability for being a racist or using a racial slur. So I can't trigger you to be a racist. You can't trigger someone to be a racist.
Thank you.
And so for the people who wants to make it seem like they want me to take accountability for Erica's choice of words,
thank you.
I will not take accountability for that. Even in her apology, she did not.
She did not say Spice name. Everybody else.
So that's my next question.
Even in the apology, she said, "But I'm not a racist," or "I'm not this." And
isn't that the title of a Joyner Lucas song? But I'm not a racist or some shit.
Didn't use. So okay, why did you use the slur? What's your definition then of using a racial slur?
Do you want an apology, and do you think you're owed one?
I don't. I know it's not going to come from a place of sorry. You can't just apologize because your pocket is being affected. You got to really mean it.
She don't mean that shit.
Every other group,
and she said it,
that has been a part of this network, that has been a part of television. You say something about
them.
Don't say it, but you say something about a particular religious group. Yes. Instantly, you are fired.
Y'all know she.
Far too.
Y'all know who she talk about. Y'all know who she's talking about. And I don't even want to say it because y'all know who she's talking about. But when it comes to Black people, y'all can call us monkeys, roaches, anything under the fucking sun. And it's okay, well, you just send out the shitty apology and we'll allow you to keep being on these shows and being a part of networks and having brand deals and shit. But when it comes to this certain demographic of people, if you say one thing about them, you're done because they control all of the media. We know this, but I ain't even gonna get that. That's another time for another day.
You speak about Black people and there is no accountability and nothing happens. So
we don't even do it.
We don't even do it. I've seen other races get attacked and they got fired immediately. And in this particular show, this is deep rooted in Black culture. How dare you disrespect Black culture and not be held accountable with the loss of income?
All right. So I want to reiterate for us and for the audience as well, the difference between racism and colorism, but also their importance, right? And so we know that racism is a system of economic, social, and political power, right, that has elevated white people to the top of the hierarchy and has simultaneously pushed Black folks to the bottom of that hierarchy, right? Not by accident. And that colorism plays in tandem with racism, where even if we are all Black, if you have more Eurocentric appearances, if you have lighter skin, you're still given greater status and opportunity in the larger society. One thing I want to say too is that when it comes to something like racism and colorism, most people know about racial inequalities, right? But in terms of colorism, there's also systemic inequality, discrimination, and oppression that darker skinned people in our race also face. And so we can't address racism unless we also address colorism within our communities as well as without our communities. So in the season finale, we see a moment of conflict between Spice and Carly. Some people are perhaps through the lens of colorism, because of their own colorist biases, unfairly judging the way Spice acted on the season relative to lighter skinned castmates who might have also been aggressive to different people. And so do you all think that colorism played a big part in the way people are receiving and commenting about that particular episode?
Because I was reading the comments, and when I was seeing different people saying, Spice just so mean, look at her, I don't know what got into her, it's just like, okay, y'all doing this because she dark skinned. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, bottom line. I've been aggressive, other women have been aggressive. They weren't going in on me like that. They wasn't going in on other people like that. They like over going in on you. And I believe because
you're darker skin complected. Absolutely. I think that so many times when we express emotion or show anger, we are labeled as angry Black women, and with that angry Black women comes the threat of oh my God.
Before we even get to the angry Black woman trope, what about these angry Black niggas? Because I don't never hear nothing about them ever. And Scrappy be getting fucked up on damn near every episode wanting to fight some fucking body. So what about that? Because it's always about the Black women. It's always about us when it comes to something negative, right? But when it's something positive, y'all barely ever be wanting to put our name in the fucking hat.
She is so aggressive. Many of you have seen lighter skinned women attack a whole cast of people. I've seen a lighter skinned woman on this show attack another woman while she was down on the floor, kicking her in her crotch.
Ooh.
All instances are wrong, but you cannot create this conversation around the fact that, oh, Spice is being so aggressive because she's dark skinned. I would say this is more aggressive than I've ever seen you. And I know that it comes on the heels of so many things that you've been through leading up to that moment. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make me think you are an aggressive person. I will not ever think that all dark-skinned women are angry, mean, and aggressive.
I have been pretty aggressive this season.
At least you can admit that.
Again, I feel like it stems from a lot of things. A lot of hurt. A lot of pain. A lot of anger inside. I'm going to leave this table to work on myself, to heal. I have had a traumatic experience as well. With Carly's situation, because that's what we ended with, it comes from a place of every time I love someone, they hurt me or betray me. And I think I sometimes make me angry.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at Spice at all. Do y'all know that meme with the pink sauce lady grabbing what's that white lady y'all like who sang Kelly Clarkson's hand? She was like, and I'm gonna grab your hand and I'm gonna tell you this. Some crazy shit. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I just thought it was funny because she grabbed the Spice hand.
Me, and I just got to work on myself and take accountability for being angry because I'm so hurting. I don't want to blame it on colorism because I do know that a lot of people instill a lot of things on me because of my color. So I'm already guilty based on anything. And so I take full accountability for being a little hurt and angry this season. But I'm going to work on that and work on myself. And I know I'm going to heal and
like this lady almost
take
died,
away a lot
but she
from
wanted to call her a monkey.
Everything.
Okay.
But I'll work on myself. I started my journey and I know I'll overcome.
She didn't deserve to get called no monkey.
Thank you so much for your
I'm sorry that I cried, but connected.
Spicy.
So how can we as a collective elevate beyond hurtful words, beyond the fighting, beyond the circumstances that have brought us here today? What are your takeaways in terms of how we elevate and grow beyond this?
Seek help.
We just we gotta really like use our platform.
Scrappy, shut up. He's like one of the kids in class who, now that he finally starting to understand the topic of conversation, he want to just be throwing out answers and shit just cause. Shut up. You right, but just hush.
Like Yandy has been doing for years. When I talk about my testimony of how I had my daughter at 15, look how many followings it brought in, and I made it out of that and made millions of dollars. And look how much success and look, young girls look up to me from just that story. What if I use my platform and talk about this stuff that's going on? That's what we got to do. Yeah, I think we also have to take an active role in stopping the systems that promote racism and colorism. I think all of us have influence. All of us have some sort of privilege where we're celebrities and we have a voice and we have impact. But so often we stay silent on issues. We'll see things happen in the workplace. We won't speak on it. Mm-hmm. But we have the ability to create change
And I think once we start in our houses, then it goes to our neighborhoods, then from our neighborhoods, it goes to our communities, and eventually it'll hit the nation. But I think we have to take an active stance on breaking down these systems that promote racism.
I agree. As far as stepping up to the plate, holding people accountable, standing on your square. Because I ain't gonna lie, sometimes people like, man, it wasn't that serious. Man,
yes, it was.
A whole nother race or religious group or just a group of people who stand for one another, they're not hearing that bad. They're hearing what it was
and what it did.
Thank you all so much for your insightful comments. I'm so glad I got to sit down with all of you. This has allowed us to start to unpack a larger conversation.
Absolutely.
Like you're saying, it has to be an ongoing conversation. I don't want anyone to think that the hour we're sitting here is going to be the final conversation.
Right.
And so this is an opportunity for us to say, here's an instance of a much larger problem, right? And so when it comes to things like racism and colorism, they are so complex that it's not going to be solved overnight, but it's important to start. Also starting to do the internal work of where am I biased? Where have I caused people harm? And am I willing to be held accountable for that?
That's basically all of that. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? Damn. Hour and 40 minutes? My bad. I didn't even know I was on here that long, y'all. I'm just so sorry. I was running my mouth. But anyways, what did y'all think about the roundtable talk from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? I felt like it was insightful in some ways. I felt like it was a bunch of dog shit in some ways as well. But that's the internet, that's media, it is what it is. Thank you everybody who has hopped in this live, chatting with me and just watch me run my mouth for this last almost 2 hours. And if you enjoyed anything in this live, please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. And thank you so much for just sitting here and chilling with me. And if you guys have any topics of anything you want me to talk about, what we do, I did put in the community post that I will be trying to do a story time sometime soon. So make sure you vote in the community post if you do want to see that. And if not, make sure you vote as well. But yeah, I will see y'all in the next one.